This is the structure of medullary pyramid, and this is the renal papillary region of medullary pyramid. This is renal papillary region, renal papilla, and this is collecting duct. So based on the structure of nephron, there are two different types of, based on the structure of loop of Henle of nephron, there are two types of nephron. Means first cortical nephron and second one is juxtamedullary nephron. Here, first of all, we can see here the most of the part of this cortical nephron. Here, most of the part lies in cortex region. This is cortex region, this is outer medulla region, and this is inner medulla region of this renal pyramid or medullary pyramid. So, this is the cortical nephron. This one is entire one is cortical nephron, and this is juxtamedullary nephron. Okay. This is juxtamedullary nephron. So, what percent of this kind of nephron present in human kidney? So, percent composition, when we will study the percent composition of cortical nephron and juxtamedullary nephron in the human kidney, so here we can classify, means number, it is 80 to 85% in number, means 85% nephron are cortical type of nephron, and what will be here 15 to 20%, means mostly cortical type of nephron present in human kidney. Mostly means majority cortical type of nephron present in human kidney, means most of the part of the nephron lies in cortex region. Now second one, this is loop of Henle. This is descending limb of loop of Henle, this is ascending limb of loop of Henle, this is PCT, DCT. So loop of Henle, length of loop of Henle, what will be the length of loop of Henle in case of cortical nephron? The length of loop of Henle in case of cortical nephron are short, whereas the length of loop of Henle in juxtamedullary nephron is long. Here it is long. Okay. Now vasa recta, the blood capillaries present around it. These blood capillaries present around this one, means around the loop of Henle, called vasa recta. So this blood capillaries is not the part of independent blood vessels. This is the part of the peritubular capillaries. Here this vasa recta either reduced or absent. So here we can write vasa recta means this is first point, this is second point, this is third point, either reduced or absent, whereas here in juxtamedullary nephron the vasa recta present. Here we can write present, and peritubular capillaries present everywhere. Here this is the part of the peritubular capillaries. So peritubular capillaries will be present everywhere. This is peritubular capillaries, and this is present everywhere around the like this. It will be present here in this region also, like this it will be present. So peritubular capillaries present in every cases. Here we can write peritubular capillaries present in both kind of nephron. Peritubular capillaries. This is vasa recta. Vasa recta. This is also vasa recta, but here short vasa recta are absent. Peritubular capillaries. In both cases we can write present. Here also we can write present. So there are two types of nephron. There are two types of nephron in human kidney based on their distribution of loop of Henle. Once again we can see most of the part of cortical nephron lies in cortex region of kidney. That's why it is known as cortical nephron. And what will be the number of cortical nephron in human kidney? Its number is 80 to 85% of total nephron present in human body or human kidney. What will be the percent composition of juxtamedullary nephron in human kidney? It is 15 to 20% in number. What will be the length of the loop of Henle? The loop of Henle does not innervate deep inside the inner medullary region of this kidney or renal pyramid, whereas the loop of Henle innervate deep inside the medulla or medullary pyramid of the kidney. That's why the length of loop of Henle in case of the cortical nephron are short, whereas the length of loop of Henle in case of the juxtamedullary nephron are long. Is long loop of Henle. The peritubular capillaries innervate around this loop of Henle termed as vasa recta, and vasa recta either absent in case of cortical nephron or reduced, and it is present in the juxtamedullary nephron. Okay. Now peritubular capillaries present everywhere in the kidney, either around this loop of Henle, TCT, PCT, all this. So based on the last information, what part of the nephron will be always present in cortical region of kidney? So these are the structures always present in the cortical region of kidney. Cortex of kidney. What will be the structure of the nephron present? Structure of nephron just like glomerulus, Bowman's capsule, proximal convoluted tubule, and distal convoluted tubules are found in cortex of kidney. What structure will be present in medullary part of the kidney? Medulla of kidney consists loop of Henle, peritubular capillaries, whereas peritubular capillaries also present here, peritubular capillaries. And here also vasa recta, these are found in medulla, medullary region. Okay. Before going to the entire mechanism of urine formation, first we should know what is the exact function of this kidney. So exact function of this kidney is to maintain homeostasis. This is homeostasis. Homeostasis. So what is the meaning of this homeostasis? Homeostasis means to maintain a constant internal environment. It means to maintain constant internal environment. Constant internal environment means the osmolarity, pH and fluid volume. So constant, these should be constant in the body fluids. This should be constant in body. So this is the role of kidney, to maintain constant internal environment. Osmolarity means amount of solute present in unit volume of the solution. So here this is the body fluid and it means blood, and the osmolarity of blood is 300. Normally in human body the osmolarity of blood 300 milliosmol per liter. Actually it is 295 or 296 milliosmol per liter, but we can consider 300 milliosmol per liter. But when we are thirsty, we are very thirsty and we are consuming large amount of water. Suppose we are consuming extra amount of water, then what will be the osmolarity of this blood? When we are adding water in it, the osmolarity of blood will go down. Why? Because we are adding extra amount of water in body, so osmolarity will go down. Now this extra amount of water will be removed from different parts of the body. First, kidney, means kidney will eliminate out extra amount of water from the body fluids. Second, through the fecal material the amount of water also discharged, sweating, and while breathing and talking some amount of water in the form of vapor also eliminated out from the body. But when this will be filtered out through this kidney, the kidney trying to maintain the osmolarity or homeostasis of this blood or body fluid. So extra amount of water along with the other waste material will be filtered out from this kidney, and it will come in first into the cortex region, then it will enter into the medulla region, and through this pelvis it will go out. So large volume of urine will be discharged along with the excretory products. Now if we are not thirsty, there is a less amount of water in body, then what the kidney will do? It will retain the water into the body. It will try to maintain that water. So less water will be filtered out from the kidney. Less amount of water will be filtered out through this kidney, and less amount here, high amount of water here, less amount of water will be filtered out. That will pass through this ureter and will be excreted out through this urethra. Means a small volume of water will be eliminated out from the body, because there is low amount of water already present in the body fluid. This is the role of the kidney. Now next one is mechanism of urine formation, how this will be done by the kidney. In that we can study in this section of the physiology. Let's see how it happens. So mechanism of urine formation involves 3 steps. What are these 3 steps? First, this is first one, glomerular filtration. Glomerular filtration. So that is the first step of this urine formation, and it is done by ultrafiltration mechanism. Ultrafiltration. It is done by ultrafiltration. Second one, tubular reabsorption. Second is tubular reabsorption, means kidney tubule will reabsorb the material and it will discharge into the peritubular capillaries. So tubular reabsorption. And third one, this is done by PCT, DCT and loop of Henle. PCT, loop of Henle and DCT. Now third one, selective secretion, means some of the material, some of the waste product from the peritubular fluid or interstitial fluid will be discharged into the kidney tubules. Selective secretion. This method is known as selective secretion. So these are the 3 steps that involve in formation of urine in kidney. Now first step, glomerular filtration. Glomerular filtration means the glomerulus of the kidney nephron will filter out finally, means fine particle of the blood will be filtered out through this kidney, and that will be accumulated in the Bowman's capsule, and later it will be passed out into the ureter and from there to urinary bladder. Now first we should know what amount of blood per minute reaching up to the kidney surface. So 1100 to 1200 ml of blood passing or reaching or passing through per 1100 to 1200 ml of milliliter of blood per minute passing through the different nephrons of the kidney. It means 1100 to 1200 means 20% of the or 1/5 of the blood pumped out from the each ventricle. Here we are writing each ventricle. We are studying each ventricle of the heart. Means 20% of the blood that is pumped out from each ventricle of the heart will pass through the kidney, and from kidney to different nephron of this kidney that can be filtered out. And the mechanism of filtration is known as ultrafiltration, means small particles, small ions, small nutrients will be filtered out. So it is fine particle that can cross from the glomerulus of this nephron. That's why this is known as glomerular filtration. The entire process is ultrafiltration, but this is done by the glomerulus. The filtration is done by the glomerulus. That's why this is known as glomerular filtration. Now see what the glomerulus will do here in ultrafiltration. See, as 1100 to 1200 ml of blood passing through this glomerulus per minute, means 1100 to 1200 ml per minute, and out of this is passing through this glomerulus, that is 1/5 of the blood pumped out by heart. This is the amount of blood, this is entire blood. And blood has two components. First one is plasma. So this is plasma, and rest one is formed elements. So what is the composition of plasma? It is 55% of the blood passing through this, means 55% of this will be almost 650 ml. 650 ml means out of 1200 ml, 650 ml is blood plasma, and that blood plasma will be filtered out, and this is formed element, that is a 45%, and 45% means how much? 550, almost 550 ml in terms of volume. So this will pass, this plasma will pass, and the dissolved material present in plasma will be filtered out, not these formed elements. As we have already studied in last video, the size of the formed elements are larger than the filtration slit present here in these three membranes of the renal corpuscles, so that cannot allow to pass the formed elements, means RBC, WBC and platelet cannot cross the filtration slit of this renal corpuscles or the membrane present here, the three membranes present here, that cannot cross. So formed elements will be passed through this. Now plasma material will filtered out here like this. It will be filtered, and it is very fine particle, very fine ions, charged particle ions that can pass through these three membranes, means endothelium, basement membrane and epithelium of Bowman's capsule, means podocytes. So that fine materials will cross. This mechanism is known as ultrafiltration mechanism. This is the ultrafiltration mechanism. Ultrafiltration. But ultrafiltration is under pressure, net filtration pressure, that will pass this material, that will push this material to go in this Bowman's capsule. So first we should study in this ultrafiltration what is net filtration pressure. So let's see what is next filtration pressure. So what is net filtration pressure? As this blood will pass through this glomerulus, as this blood will pass through this glomerulus, the blood or the water present in blood, that will exert pressure on the wall of this glomerulus, and that pressure is known as blood hydrostatic pressure, and it is positive pressure that will exert. This will exert pressure on the wall of this, and due to this pressure, the nutrients, the ions, the water, that will pass through the filtration slit, or here this is the filtration slit, or also through the co-transporter or anti-transporter proteinous channel or leakage channel. So this is blood hydrostatic pressure that will push the plasma on this wall of the glomerulus, and this is BHP, blood hydrostatic pressure, means hydro means water, the water present in blood, that will exert the pressure, and its value is 60 mm of Hg. This is 60 mm of Hg. Now this, the albumin protein here that is present, that will create albumin protein here, osmotic potential that will helps in osmosis. So here another pressure will be exerted by this one, and that will exert the pressure in opposite direction to prevent the osmosis, means to prevent the water to move out from this glomerulus into the Bowman's capsule, and that pressure is known as colloidal osmotic pressure, COP. So second pressure is colloidal osmotic pressure. This is colloidal osmotic pressure, and this pressure, the magnitude of this pressure is 32 mmHg, and it opposes BHP. That's why it is negative. Negative sign indicates that it opposes the BHP. It is not negative in magnitude, but it indicates the direction of the force. Now third one, this capsule will also pressure, means Bowman's capsule, the wall of Bowman capsule, here it will exert pressure. This will also exert pressure. So COP also exert pressure here. Sorry, CP means colloidal osmotic capsular pressure. This is capsular pressure, and capsular pressure will also oppose the filtrates to come out, accumulate here in this Bowman's capsule. So the magnitude of this capsular pressure is 18 mmHg, and it also opposes BHP. That's why the value of we can represent this one as negative sign. So what is net filtration pressure? BHP exerting over it on this wall of the glomerulus, and these two pressure will oppose this BHP to retain the fluid here in this, to maintain the osmolarity of this body fluid. So BHP is equal to, this is BHP, and BHP is 60 mmHg, and COP is minus 32 mmHg, and CP is minus 18 mmHg. So by adding this, we can get the net filtration pressure. What is net filtration pressure? Net filtration pressure will be 18 and 32, both will be 50, and 60 minus 50 is equal to 10 mmHg. This is the net filtration pressure. Now what will happen? This, due to this net filtration pressure, this is net filtration and pressure. This is net filtration pressure. So due to this net filtration pressure, the filtrates will accumulate here through these channels. The filtrate will accumulate here through this channel, leakage channel, co-transport channel, and the filtration slit that will allow to accumulate the filtrate here. And what will be the filtrate? Filtrate will be glucose, amino acids, lipids, urea, creatinine, and apart from this, what will be here? Na plus, K plus, Cl minus, SCO3 minus, Ca plus plus, all these, plus water in large amount. These all will accumulate here. These are known as filtrates. Filtrates, these will come here through these channels, or co-transporter proteins or anti-transporter proteins, proteinous channel or leakage channel. So that these will accumulate here in the Bowman's capsule. These are the filtrates that will accumulate. This will store it due to this net filtration pressure. Now suppose if blood hydrostatic pressure will go down, how it will go down? If you are increasing the lumen of this one by stretching it, by dilating it, if you are stretching this, means widening the lumen of this afferent arteriole, what will happen? The large amount of water, large amount of blood will come out, or a small amount of blood, what will be the pressure of the blood? It will go down. So BHP will go down. Suppose it goes down up to 50 mm of Hg, then is it possible to filter the blood through this glomerulus? No. If it is 50 then it will be 32, or then it will be 19, 18. Net these two will be 50, and this will again 50. So by adding we can get 0. So there will be no filtration if this will dilate. This will dilate, then no filtration will occur. Now this is the filtrates, and this will happen every minute, because every minute the plasma is crossing through this glomerulus. Blood plasma is crossing through this element. So this one is known as GFR, means glomerular filtration rate. This is known as glomerular filtration rate. Filtration rate. What is glomerular filtration rate? Amount of blood filtered out per minute by glomerulus. This is known as glomerular filtration rate, means amount of blood plasma, especially blood plasma, filtered out per minute through glomerulus, and this is known as GFR, and the value of this GFR is equal to 125, means this is plasma is 650 ml and the 125 ml per minute is filtered out from this one. What percent is filtered out of this? Almost 80% will be filtered out, means out of that 80% is filtered out. This is known as 125 ml per minute, and 1.25 ml per minute means in 1 minute 125 out of 650 ml blood plasma will be filtered out. This is 650, and filtration of out of 650 only 125. So rest of this will pass here, means 80% will pass and this will come here. Now if it is measured in the terms of per hour, what will be the value of this? The value of this, it will be 7.5 liters per hour. This will be 7.5 liters per hour, and then what will be total amount of the blood filtered by the glomerulus per day? It will turn to 180 liters per day. In 24 hours, 180 liter filtrates will accumulate here in this Bowman's capsule that will pass through the different parts of the nephron tubules. Okay.